The Lego Microfighters line began in 2014 with a total of 6 sets, but technically the Microfighters line began a little bit earlier with Comic-Con exclusives such as the Mini Slave 1 here, the Luke's Land Speeder, the Darth Maul Sith Infiltrator, as well as Jack 14 Stealth Starfighter. These are all technically considered the first Microfighters and are now selling for a ton of money, over hundreds of dollars, just because of how exclusive they were to Comic-Con. We also got a few others such as this Ghost here, and then I think this is pretty much the same set. These both are very similar, just with different characters in them. So 2 Ghost sets. These were also precursors to the Microfighter line, but we're not going to be including these in the list since they weren't considered official Microfighter sets. So starting off with 2014, which was the first year of Lego Microfighters, which is now almost 10 years ago. So Lego Microfighters have been around for 10 years. We've got a total of 6 sets for Series 1, which included the Clone Turbo Tank and the AAT, which were the 2 prequel sets of that year, which were really cool because kids could buy both of them and have battles go against each other. And then we also got the Millennium Falcon and Star Destroyer, which went against each other, as well as the X-Wing and the TIE Interceptor, which went against each other. So a total of 6 sets, 4 from the original trilogy and 2 from the prequel trilogy, both of our very iconic vehicles with some really nice characters, and they all were designed to go against each other, included flick fire missiles, so kids could have a lot of fun reenacting battles and stuff like that. Moving on to the second year of Microfighters, which was 2015, we again saw 6 Microfighters, but this time with a total of 4 prequel sets and only 2 original trilogy sets. This time it included the ARC 170 Starfighter, as well as a Vulture Droid, which went against each other. Again, a really nice setup there, so with some really great Microfighters. And we also got the Republic Gunship and the Homing Spider Droid from the Battle of Geonosis. These both also went really well together and got some really nice clone and droid minifigures. And then the 2 from the original trilogy consisted of the Snow Speeder Microfighter and the AT-AT, so you could recreate battle scenes from the Battle of Hoth. So again, a really nice lineup there, total of 6 Microfighters in both 2014 and 2015. And now the prequel and original trilogy sets have equaled out with a total of 6 with the both 2 years. So really, the Microfighters have gone off to a really great start here, really great collectible theme where kids can have just a lot of fun collecting and recreating battles with such iconic vehicles at this interesting scale. Moving on to 2016, again we got 6 Microfighters, but this time we got 2 based off of the sequel trilogy, which included the Resistance X-Wing Microfighter and the First Order Snowspeeder. Again, these 2 sets go pretty well together in my opinion. And then we got 4 based off of the Rebels TV show, such as the Ghost Microfighter and the TIE Advanced, which go against each other. And then we got the Wookiee Gunship Microfighter and the ATDP Microfighter, which went against each other. So again, total of 6, this time 4 from Rebels and 2 from sequel trilogy. So none from the original trilogy and prequel trilogy, but still, I think that's okay since there's still, these were kind of popular at the time. So it's still a pretty great year for Microfighters with the consistent 6 a year, and each with a price of $10. Now moving on to 2017, things began to change. This year we only got a total of 4 Microfighters instead of 6, and they were all from Rogue One. This included the U-Wing Microfighter, the TIE Striker Microfighter to go against it, and we got a Y-Wing and Krennic's Imperial Shuttle. Now the Y-Wing is from the original trilogy, but has the Blue Squadron pilot, so it's from Rogue One. Now this is where the Microfighters start to slightly go downhill, because instead of 6 we get 4, and 4 from Rogue One is nice, but I really feel like we should have gotten maybe 2 from the sequel trilogy. Still from The Force Awakens, we could have gotten a Wraith Speeder Microfighter or something like that, or this First Order troop transport could have been cooler, like a Kylo Ren shuttle. We did get one later on though, but still, I still think we really should have gotten 2 from the sequel trilogy and kept at that constant 6 Microfighters a year. Now moving on to 2018, we get again total of 4 microfighter sets, but this time we get 2 double packs, so we're again up to 6 microfighters. This time we get the Millennium Falcon from The Last Jedi, as well as a First Order TIE Fighter microfighter to go against it. And then we get the Ski Speeder versus First Order Walker microfighter. Now, with these double sets, I kind of just wish they had still been single, since you get 2 vehicles. You do get an additional gun turret thing, but I still wish they had been single sets, so if you just want one, you could just buy one. And then we also have the A-Wing and TIE Silencer microfighter. So this time they're all again from The Last Jedi. Again, I kind of wish they had done like 4 from The Last Jedi, maybe again 2 from Rogue One, since Rogue One was still very popular at the time. They could have done a lot of like the cargo shuttle, Imperial cargo shuttle would have been cool to have seen from Rogue One, and maybe a few other vehicles, I don't know, from there. And anyway, like they could have done like a hover tank, I think would have been cool from Rogue One. But anyway, that's 2018 again. Still 4. Now we're down to 4, but again with the double pack sets we are up to 6, but I still wish they'd been single, and again had 2 from Rogue One. So moving on to 2019, we got a total of 3 microfighter sets this year, but again, one of them was a double pack, so we got a total of 4 microfighters again, which consisted of the Naboo Starfighter microfighter and the Sith Infiltrator microfighter, which were the very first microfighters to be officially from the Phantom Menace. Then we got one double pack, which was the Escape Pod and Dewback microfighter, which I think makes sense to have done as a double pack, because having a Dewback microfighter just on its own really doesn't make a lot of sense, in my opinion, and just having creature battle packs go along with vehicles, I think really make the most sense when it comes to double pack. Now again, going back, we only got a total of 3 sets this year, total of 4 vehicles, so we should have gotten a few more, and I really think we should have gotten some microfighters based off of the movie Solo this year. We could have gotten a Solo Millennium Falcon, maybe even thrown a few other Solo related vehicles there, like, a Han Solo speeder would be a cool microfighter to see, like those speeders. Be really cool to see. I just feel like we should have gotten some Solo microfighters here in 2019. Now moving on to 2020, we again get a total of 3 sets this time, again with 2 single sets and 1 double pack. We get the Resistance Y-Wing microfighter here, and then the Kylo Ren shuttle microfighter to go against it. And then we have the T-16 Skyhopper microfighter. Again, another one with a Bantha and Skyhopper, which I think makes sense, was kind of fun and interesting battle pack to do. And then got Kylo and Y-Wing. So again, 3. I feel like we should have gotten a few more. I think in 2020 we should have started maybe getting some Mandalorian microfighters. We could have gotten the Razor Crest this year, maybe an ATSD Raider. Just some Mandalorian microfighters would have been really cool to have seen that year. Moving on to 2021, we again get the 3rd Millennium Falcon microfighter we've seen, which I think is okay. Since we've seen so many microfighter sets. And then we got the AT-AT versus Tauntaun microfighter set. So again, we're down to 2 microfighter sets now. So we've lost another single set. Again, really with that Millennium Falcon, we should have gotten like a TIE Fighter would have been cool to go against it, since we've never got an official TIE Fighter microfighter. And then the AT-AT versus Tauntaun, again, another creature versus vehicle, which I think is great. And then 2021, maybe a few more Mandalorian sets, maybe throw in a few Clone Wars sets, prequel sets. It could have been a good idea to have done that this year. But no, we only got 3 sets, only 2 sets, which is just really disappointing, in my opinion, for 2021. Now moving on to 2022, this is definitely the worst year in microfighters so far, and that is just we got 1 microfighter and the Razor Crest. And the thing is with this, we get the Mandalorian, we don't get Grogu, and we get the Mandalorian in his updated armor. I think it would have been way cool to have seen him in his like the original armor, seen in like the very beginning of season 1. That would have made this model just a little bit better, in my opinion. But still, an overall really good microfighter. Just really wish we had gotten the Mandalorian microfighter in 2020, and then gotten a few more different microfighters here in 2022, not just having one. I guess maybe one of the reasons why Lego isn't doing so many microfighters is because maybe they're running out of good ship ideas, but they could always remake ships, just like they've done the Millennium Falcon 3 times. They could remake a new X-Wing microfighter, they could do like new TIE fighters, or they could do, just remake sets, maybe put in different characters, change things here and there. And there are a ton of Star Wars ships, so they could just go out and just make some very interesting sets, but yeah, just one in 2022. Moving on to the current year of Lego Microfighters, we got a total of 2 this year, which is better than last year. And that includes the Boba Fett Starship Slave 1 Microfighter, which I was really excited about. Really, Lego's never done the Slave 1. I think it would be really cool to get a Jango Fett Slave 1 as a Microfighter, to get your hands on Jango Fett at a cheaper price. And we also got the Mandalorian and 1 Starfighter, which is okay, definitely not the best Microfighter in my opinion. You get Mandalorian and Grogu, but for a price of $16, which is $6 more than this one, which came out the same year in just 6 months. So the price on this is just way overpriced. Really, Microfighter should have just gone up to $13. This one should have, but yeah, $16 is just way too expensive for me. And again, we only got 2 this year, and with 2023, would have been really cool to have seen some Microfighters based off of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. I think that would have been cool to have gotten an Inquisitor transport scythe. You could have included the Grand Inquisitor there, a really great way to get that as a minifigure. We could also see some Microfighters based off of the new Ahsoka show coming out. We could have gotten a new Ghost Microfighter or a T6 Shuttle Microfighter. Just, there's some really good opportunities for Lego to do some Microfighters with all of the new shows that keep coming out. But anyway, Lego just done 2 this year, and it doesn't really look like we're going to be getting any Microfighters in 2024, unless Lego throws one in during the summer, like the Mandalorian and 1 Starfighter here. But hopefully, if they don't do Microfighters next year, hopefully they do them in 2025, because it would be super cool to see some Microfighters based off of Revenge of the Sith for the 20th anniversary. We'd love to see Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, Obi-Wan's Interceptor. You can get General Grievous speeder bike versus Obi-Wan on the Ractal Boga. Really, there's just some really great Revenge of the Sith Microfighter ideas. And also, this year's the 20th anniversary of Clone Wars and 40th anniversary of the Return of the Jedi. It would have been great to have seen like a Microfighter of the B-Wing and A-Wing. You could have gotten like some Clone Wars vehicles, such as a V-19 Torrent. There's some really great opportunities missed here for Lego with Microfighters, which I just really wish they had gone with. But anyway, that's just my thoughts and opinions on the current state of the Microfighter line, the past, present, and future of what I think Microfighters are going. Just overall, I think they've been going downhill definitely this year, especially with the new price and just with the amount that they've been making. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below which Microfighter is your favorite, or what you would like to see done in Microfighters, or if you'd like them to stay, or if you're okay with them going away. But anyway, that is my video for today. Until next time, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye.